Good morning everyone. So in the previous class we have discussed about what are the different types of mechanisms for the drug absorption. So in the last class I have discussed about what is passive diffusion. So what is passive diffusion? So we are having different mechanisms, types of mechanisms, but among all the types passive diffusion is the most preferable one because it does not require any source of energy and it is mainly depends upon the concentration gradient. So maximum 90% of the drugs will be transferred through the mechanism called passive diffusion. So it is mainly depends on the driving force of concentration gradient. It does not require any source of external energy. That's why it is calling as passive diffusion. So this passive diffusion is best expressed by Fick's first law of diffusion. I have already told you. So generally the passive diffusion states that the drug molecules diffuse from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration, means it is a downhill transport. So because of downhill transport there is no need of energy expenditure from outside. So this is a formula. Mainly the passive diffusion depends on the Fick's first law of diffusion, which was mathematically expressed by using this formula: dq by dt is equal to dak m by w by h cgit minus c. So based on the above equation, they have mentioned some of the characteristics. I have told you that is a downhill transport, and it is mainly the driving force for this passive diffusion is concentration gradient. Coming to the next mechanism, that is spore transport. So this spore transport we are also calling as convective transport or bulk flow or filtration. So for this there are three different synonyms, that is convective transport, bulk flow and filtration. This transport mechanism is mainly essential for the drugs which are having low molecular size and low molecular weight compounds, means molecular size and molecular weight is less than 100 daltons, can be administered through the pore transport very efficiently. And the pore transport is mainly helpful for the water soluble compounds because the pore transport is having some aqueous fluid channels and narrow aqueous fluid channels. So through these pores or through these pores in the membrane structure we are having very little aqueous fluid pores. So through these pores the drugs which are having a low molecular weight and low molecular size, and the drugs which are water soluble, because the membrane is a water soluble membrane, so water soluble compounds can be transferred through this membrane very efficiently. What are the examples? Urea, water and other sugar. So this water, urea, sugar, these are all the water soluble compounds, can be efficiently transferred through the pore transport mechanism. Not only these compounds but also chain like or linear compounds having the molecular weight less than 400 daltons can also be administered through the pore transport very efficiently. So here the driving force is hydrostatic pressure or osmotic pressure. So depends on the differentiation between inside and the outside of the membrane. So there is a differentiation of the osmotic pressure. So we are equalizing the osmotic pressure on the two sides. In the last mechanism we have discussed about the passive diffusion. So in that we are mainly the driving force is concentration gradient. So the drug will be transferred across the membrane and reaches the interior portion of the body until the equilibrium concentration attains. So here also depends on the osmotic differences between outside of the membrane and inside of the membrane the drug will carries. So here the drug permeates through these aqueous fluid channels is of very important for the renal excretion, removal of the drug and the cerebrospinal fluid and entry of the liver. So that is about the pore transport. So pore transport is also called as convective transport, bulk flow or filtration. This pore transport is mainly useful for the compounds having a low molecular size and low molecular weight compounds like less than 200 daltons, and also useful for the water soluble compounds like urea, water and sugar. Here the membrane is an aqueous membrane, that is a water soluble membrane. So any of the water soluble compounds having a low molecular weight can be administered, can be transferred through the pore transport very efficiently. Coming to the other compounds like chain like and linear compounds having the molecular weight less than 400 daltons can also be administered through the pore transport very efficiently. Here the driving force is the osmotic pressure or hydrostatic pressure. Depends on the differentiation between the osmotic differences the drug will transfer. Coming to the carrier mediated transport, here the name itself is saying here the carrier acts as a median for the transportation of the drug. Carrier mediated transport means here the carrier acts as a mediator for the transportation of the drug. Generally we are having different water soluble drugs. Generally those drugs cannot be transferred through the membrane because maximum membranes or lipid soluble membranes means oil loving but not the water loving. Those membranes are generally after administration of any tablet or any capsule, a particular drug should cross many biological membranes to reach the systemic circulation. So maximum membranes or lipophilic in nature or oil loving nature. So the drugs which are having the oil soluble characteristics, only such drugs can be administered efficiently through the membrane. But here we are so the water soluble drugs will not be administered, will not be transferred, will not cross the membrane efficiently. That is the prediction. But irrespective of the water soluble compounds, irrespective of the molecular size, irrespective of the molecular weight, some drugs can cross the membrane more efficiently. How? Because of the carrier. So this carrier acts as a mediator. It will hold the drug molecule. It helps to cross the drug molecules to cross the membrane, and again over there the carrier dissociates the drug molecule and it again come back to its original position to hold the another fish molecule. See, some polar drugs cross the membrane more readily than can be predicted. So we are having different polar drugs. Polar drugs means nothing but the water soluble drugs. These water soluble drugs cannot cross the membrane more easily, but out of our prediction it can cross the membranes more easily because of the specialized transport calling as carriers. So without these carriers, these drugs, what are the nutrition? So maximum water soluble compounds are very need to our body because of many essential nutrients, many monosaccharides and other carbohydrate related compounds, vitamins, everything will be in a water soluble way. But if we cannot absorb such water soluble compounds, what will happen? It may lead to our body deficiency. So for transferring of that drugs, of transferring that vitamins or minerals, we are using different specialized techniques calling as carrier mediated transport mechanism. So this mechanism is thought to involve a component of the membrane calling as carrier. So this carrier will helps to the drug molecules to hold it, bind, the drug molecules will bind diversely to the carrier. So it bind the carrier solute complexes transfers the membranes to the other side. So after binding the drug and the carrier molecule, irreversibly it will readily crosses the membrane more readily. So the membrane, the carrier helps the drug molecules to cross the membrane more easily. So after crossing, the complex will become dissociation. The drug will after crossing the membrane, what will happen? The drug will be stay there, and again the carrier which is present will coming back to its original position to take the another fish molecule. So but here we are having some of the important characteristics of the carrier mediated transport. One is, we know here it is the carriers is having a special affinity or special capability to hold the drugs and carry the drug molecules to the other side and cross the membrane. So the transport process is a structure specific, that is the carriers have a special affinity for and transfer the drug molecule specific chemical structure only. Not only all the drugs, but the carrier is having some structure. So our drug molecules is also having some structure. So what are the structures which are similar to the particular drug will be efficiently carried through the carrier. So after transportation over there, the the carrier will leave the drug molecules over there and coming back to its original position. So many of the drugs like 5-fluorouracil, 5-fluorobromouracil are the false nutrients. So I have told you many vitamins, many minerals will be transferred by the usage of the carrier. And the carrier is mainly the structure specific. So the drugs which are having the similar structure to that of carrier, only that drug molecules will carry through the carrier mediation. But the other drugs having the similar structures will also take the carrier help and also travels through the membrane. So that nutrients we are calling as false nutrients. So many different drugs were transferred through the carriers, having the similar structure to the carriers, but some drugs the carrier will not want to carry some drugs. Still such molecules like 5-fluorouracil, 5-bromouracil can also transfers through the carrier mediator system, which because of its structural similarity. So such molecules we are calling as false nutrients. And the other point is carriers are very limited. Generally in the entire body we are having the stomach, gastrointestinal tract is having such carriers. So but these carriers are very limited. Only some compounds only can have the access to carry through the other membrane. Carries across a membrane. So because of limited carriers, so competition will be there between the drug molecules, between the other false nutrients. So the carrier will take the drug molecules and make them to cross the membrane. Over there it will dissociate the membrane and again coming back to the original position. Actually this is the case, but because of the carriers having a very limited members, at a particular stage beyond the limit the carriers get saturated. So if it is getting saturated, what will happen? The absorption will becomes less. For example, if you compare the passive diffusion carrier mediated transport mechanism, the passive diffusion having a greater efficiency, it is not limited. So when the drug concentration increases, the curve will also increase. See, the concentration of drug absorption side, rate of drug absorption. So the concentration of the drug increasing, the rate of absorption is also increasing linearly. But coming to the carrier mediated transport mechanism, because of very limited carriers, up to particular stage, the concentration of the drug is directly proportional to the rate of drug absorption, but after the saturation level it will become linear, means constant. So that's why, because it is a capacity limited process, that's why it is calling as mixed order kinetics, Michaelis-Menten saturation or non-linear kinetics. So these are the other different types of names given for the carrier mediated mechanism. So because of the subsaturation, saturation levels is having for the carrier mediated transport, under saturation we are calling as first order, it follows first order process. Above saturation level it follows zero order process. So this is about the carrier mediated transport mechanism. So the carrier mediated transport mechanism means nothing but here we are using one carrier. With the help of this carrier we are transferring the drug from outside of the membrane to inside of the membrane, because we are having different types of drug. If it is a lipophilic drug, it can cross the membrane more easily, but if it is a water soluble drug, it cannot cross the membrane more easily. So that's why we are using such type of carriers which help the drug water soluble molecules to cross the membrane very easily. For example, we are having different monosaccharides, amino acids and vitamins. Generally these are the water soluble compounds which are very poorly absorbed. So for this type of drugs, the carrier acts as a very beneficial one which carries the drug molecules, which bind the drug molecules and cross the particular drug molecules to the other side of the membrane. Over there it dissociates and coming back to its original position to take again a fresh drug molecule. So here in this way this carrier mediated transport mechanism will act on our body. This carrier mediated transport mechanisms are of two types. One is facilitated diffusion and the second one is active transport. For example, if you take the facilitated diffusion, see here, this is the drug molecule we want. This is the intrinsic factor which is used to hold the substance, and this is the carrier which is present in the stomach or the gastrointestinal area. So what is happening here? The carrier takes the intrinsic factor and the vitamin like this. So it forms a drug intrinsic factor carrier complex. So it will cross the membrane more efficiently. It will cross the membrane more efficiently. Over here, the carrier leaves the free drug and the other intrinsic factor which is helping to bind these two the drug molecule and the carrier. Again, the carrier will come to the starting position to receive again the compound. So this is the facilitated diffusion. So I have already told you the carrier mediated transport mechanism will use the carrier. This is the carrier. So here the carrier, I have told you the carrier mediated transport mechanism will use the carrier. The carrier mediated transport mechanisms are of two types. One is facilitated diffusion. So here also we are using one carrier, but along with the carrier we are also using one intrinsic factor. It is just like a nutrient compound which helps to bind the carrier and the drug molecule B12, nothing but vitamin B12 compound. So here slowly it get transferred and cross the membrane very efficiently, and again the complex, the carrier molecule will coming back to its original position. So this is the process for the facilitated diffusion. And the second one is active transport. So here also they are using one carrier. So the drug molecule will bind to the carrier. So again a drug carrier complex will form. So again the carrier along with the drug moves and cross the membrane more efficiently. Over there again the drug molecule will get dissociate and the free drug will be in the inner side of the membrane, and again the carrier molecule will come to its original position to take the fresh molecule again. So these are the two different types of transport mechanisms which will be present in the carrier mediated transport mechanism. This active transport is having the another main characteristic is it is a uphill transport, means the concentration gradient will be from a region of a lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. So from region of lower to higher means it is a uphill transport, because we are uplifting the transport. For this purpose we are using the energy for the transport mechanism in the form of ATP. So here we are using the energy of ATP. So because of that energy we are crossing the membrane more easily, and at the same time it is the concentration. Here the driving force is concentration gradient, but it is a uphill transport, means from a region of higher concentration to the region of from a region of lower concentration to from a region of higher concentration. If you take the passive diffusion, it is a downhill transport, that is from a region of higher concentration to the lower concentration. But coming to active transport, it is vice versa, that is from a region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration. Because here the uphill transport, we are using the energy for the transport mechanism. So this is about the facilitated and active transport mechanism. So this carrier is very essential for the transportation of many water soluble compounds, because these water soluble compounds cannot cross the membrane more efficiently like a lipid soluble drug. So because of that we are using the carriers which acts as a carrier which hold the drug, which make them to cross across the membrane, and over there it leaves the free drug molecule and again coming back to its original position to take the fresh molecule. Like this way the complete drug molecules will cross the membrane more efficiently and produces the therapeutic effect. These carrier mediated transport mechanisms are of two types. One is facilitated diffusion and the second one is active transport. In the facilitated diffusion we are using the carrier, one intrinsic factor and the drug. So all these three bind together and form a complex. This complex cross the membrane more efficiently. Over there After crossing the membrane over there, it leaves the drug molecule and intrinsic factor. Again, the free carrier coming back to its original position to accept the fresh molecule. And the active transport is also having the same mechanism. Here we are having the carrier except intrinsic factor. We are directly, the drug will connect to the carrier and forms a complex. This formed complex will cross the membrane more efficiently. After crossing the membrane over there, it leaves the free drug molecule and again coming back to its original position to accept the fresh molecule. This is the active transport. Here we are using the energy in the form of ATP, and it is the uphill transport, means the driving force is concentration gradient. Here the concentration will act from lower region of lower concentration to the higher concentration, means it is an uphill transport. That's why we are using the energy in the form of ATP. So this is the main difference between the passive diffusion and the facilitated active transport and the facilitated diffusion. So in the facilitated diffusion there is no need of energy expenditure, but here we are having the need of energy expenditure. We are taking the energy from outside of the source. That's why there may be a chance of some metabolic poisons, because we are using the external source of energy. So this is the one of the main disadvantage for the active transport. Because we are using the energy from the outer source, there may be a chance of metabolic poisons. So this is about the carrier mediated transport mechanism. In the next class we will discuss about the ionic or electrochemical diffusion. Thank you.